Welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca. Well, we are on the final day of a 3-day lesson about whales. Yesterday, we learned about the purpose of migration. And we also learned about some of the notable patterns of the North Atlantic humpback whales. And of course, that was very, very interesting. Today's lesson is called Whale Migration, a Journey of Survival. Well, today we're going to learn about the notable patterns of 2 more whales. Number 1, we're going to learn about killer whales, aka orcas. And we're going to learn about gray whales. Friends, open up your magazines and let's begin talking about whales. So come with me.
Whale migration, a journey of survival. Killer whales, aka orcas. These whales, with their striking black and white coloring, don't necessarily follow specific migration routes, but rather migrate toward their food sources. Orcas are not whales, but the largest of the dolphin species. Found in waters from the polar regions to the equator, orcas are known to be very intelligent and are fierce hunters. Gray whales. In the fall, gray whales leave the icy waters of the Bering Sea between Russia and Alaska and travel south for 2 to 3 months.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 今天的第一个重点，我们看 polar 这个形容词。Polar 是指极地的，例如 The scientists endured many hardships while living in the polar region to collect data for their research. 这些科学家为了收集研究所需要的数据，忍受极地地区生活时的种种艰苦。或者是 A large percentage of the polar area was covered by moss. 极地区域极大部分都被苔藓所覆盖。它的名词是 pole, P-O-L-E, 意思是指地球的极点。例如 The South Pole 就是指南极。接下来我们看的是 equator 这个名词 E-Q-U 这个字根是指相等或平均，所以 equator 就是指那一条把地球平分的线，也就是赤道。例如 people who live in countries near the equator enjoy warm weather all year round. 住在靠赤道附近的国家的人民终年都享有温暖的气候。或者是 Brazil lies on the equator. 巴西位于赤道上。它的形容词是字尾加上 ial 变成 equatorial, 意思是指赤道附近的或者是赤道一带典型的。例如 equatorial climate 是指赤道型气候。
So, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. We get to talk about those killer whales.
That's right.
This section is called Killer Whales, aka orcas.
And we see a picture of a beautiful killer whale right here. And it is quite a beautiful creature. But I've seen video footage of killer whales actually killing other creatures. Yeah, they can be kind of vicious.
Vicious or dangerous?
Yes.
Well, I really like the title of this section, Killer Whales, aka. That just means also known as orcas. So they're actually called both killer whales and orcas. But we learned some very interesting things about these amazing creatures. These whales, with their striking black and white coloring, don't necessarily follow specific migration routes, but rather migrate toward their food sources. Very wise. Let's take a look at that word striking. If something is striking, that means it's very unusual or it's extremely attractive and worth looking at.
Yeah, and so I would say that with the different species of whales, I'm sure that different whales are striking in different ways, but really, killer whales do tend to stand out, right, with their contrast between the black and the white. So you could also use this word striking to talk about other things. Maybe you see a striking sunset or a striking sunrise. You could talk about the striking scenery in a place that you visited.
And so Orcas, aka killer whales, definitely have a striking black and white coloring, and they don't necessarily follow specific migration routes, but rather migrate toward their food sources. Let's take a look at this word rather. We see it in our lesson. When do you use this? You just use it to express the opposite opinion or a different opinion about something.
Yeah, so it could mean, more exact or more accurately. For example, I could say, this person is my friend, or rather, she was my friend. Maybe she did something wrong, or she hurt me, or I hurt her. She doesn't want to be my friend anymore. I could say she was my friend, or rather, she was my friend.
Exactly.
It's more correct,
Right.
It's terrible.
Yeah, very terrible.
No more friendship.
Now, Gabe, we learned something really interesting about orcas in this next sentence. Orcas are not whales, but the largest of the dolphin species. Now, growing up, this actually surprised me because I always thought orcas were whales.
I did too. Orcas are whales. They're actually not. They're part of the dolphin species.
Yeah, that's what it says right here. Orcas are not whales, but the largest of the dolphin species.
Well, you know what? Actually, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If you think about it, their skin texture is very similar compared to other whales, right? They seem to have that kind of smoother skin.
Right. And we read, found in waters from the polar regions to the equator, orcas are known to be very intelligent and are fierce hunters. Now, let's talk about the Arctic. The Arctic, that's a fun word. It's a very cold area, and it's close to the North Pole.
Okay, so that is the Arctic. And you see this word, the first letter is lowercase. Okay, usually we use it like this, the Arctic, to describe something up there. However, if you want to talk about the Arctic Circle, you would capitalize the A and this first C, the Arctic Circle up north. But what about down south, Rebecca?
Are you thinking of the Antarctic?
Exactly.
Yes, I thought so. Then we have the Antarctic, and that refers to the cold area around the South Pole. And it's very cold, frigid.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing applies if you're talking about the Antarctic Circle. You would capitalize the A and that C. And friends, those letters A and T, they refer to the opposite of something. You know that an antonym is the opposite of the word that you're using.
Exactly. Okay, so we've already talked about killer whales or orcas, and now it's time for us to talk about the gray whales. And as you probably already know, gray whales are the color gray.
Well, we read on, in the fall, gray whales leave the icy waters of the Bering Sea between Russia and Alaska and travel south for 2 to 3 months. I don't know about you, Rebecca, that sounds pretty nice.
Oh, to take a 2 to 3 month vacation?
Exactly. Maybe we should leave for 2 to 3 months.
Wow, that would be amazing. I'm just thinking about all the different places that I could go.
And we could go scuba diving and travel with the whales for 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, that would be really tiring and probably really cold. Well,
really
I don't think
cool.
our boss would like that too much.
Yeah, I think we need to maybe put that off until another time.
I have an idea. Let's take a break and go to the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud.
Animals are amazing creatures, but sometimes they can cause confusion. So knowing just what an animal is can be difficult because many animals are quite similar.
Right. There can be many types of one particular animal. Just think about all of the different kinds of dogs and cats. They are all dogs and cats, sure, but they look different and are good at doing different things.
This is also true outside of the pets in our homes. Just look at whales. They come in all sizes and colors. Some have teeth and some don't.
And one whale that is always confusing is the orca. Is it a whale or is it a dolphin?
Well, it's often called killer whale, but it's actually the largest member of the dolphin family. So that means the orca is a type of dolphin.
Orcas were once called whale killers because some orcas hunt and eat whales. Eventually, the two words were reversed, and people started calling them killer whales.
I can see how that could confuse people.
Now, something to keep in mind is that whales and dolphins are similar, and dolphins can be categorized as toothed whales. So while orcas are the largest members of the dolphin family, they are also toothed whales.
很多的动物分得很细，像猫狗就有很多不同的品种。Whales 鲸鱼也是一样，鲸鱼有大大小小、有牙齿跟没有牙齿的品种。讲到鲸鱼，很多人以为 orca 虎鲸是鲸鱼，其实它属于 dolphin family 海豚科，它是海豚科里头体型最大的种类。Orca 也常常被称为 killer whale 杀人鲸，其实它并不会杀人，它的名称原本是 whale killer 鲸鱼的杀手，因为它会猎杀鲸鱼。只是后来它的名字被倒过来变成 killer whale， 中文呢又被翻译成杀人鲸，就让人们误以为它们会攻击人类。
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are talking about whales. We learned about killer whales, aka orcas, and guess what? They are not whales, but you already knew that because you studied this lesson. Well, we also learned about gray whales. Those are whales that are gray. And friends, we have more to learn about gray whales right now, so let's continue with our next reading.
Whale migration, a journey of survival. The trip takes them to their annual mating waters around Baja California, Mexico. Nearly the entire population of grays follows this route, making what some believe is the longest mammal migration journey. Grays will linger in the Baja area for up to 3 months, giving their calves time to build up a thick layer of blubber. This protective layer of fat will keep the calves warm when they swim back into Russia's freezing waters. For whales, migration is often necessary for survival. For us, it provides a spectacular opportunity to witness these majestic creatures on the move.
OK， 接下来我们看的是 blubber 这个名词。Blubber 是指海洋动物身上的脂肪或者是精汁。例如 ，These fishermen eat raw fish and whale blubber for every meal while they are at sea。这些渔夫在出海的时候，每一餐都吃生鱼和精汁。或者是 sea blubber keeps the seal warm in cold water。海豹的脂肪让它们在冰冷的海水中保持温暖。Blubber 也可以指人身上的赘肉，是一个非常口语的用语。例如 ，These fat-burning exercises can help you get rid of your blubber fast。这些燃脂运动可以帮助你快速的甩掉赘肉。最后我们看 majestic 这个形容词 ，majestic 是指宏伟的或者是壮丽的。例如 ，The scenery at Niagara Falls is incredibly majestic。尼加拉瀑布的景观是让人无法想象的壮丽。或者是 The once majestic palace is now old and shabby。这个一度宏伟壮丽的王宫，如今变成老旧破烂。它的名词是 majesty, M-A-J-E-S-T-Y。例如 The symphony is full of majesty and power。这支交响乐充满了雄壮的气势与力量。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Okay, of course, we get to continue talking about these gray whales, and we're talking about their migration and how they get to take a vacation for 2 to 3 months. Well, not really. But anyway, the trip, they do go on a trip though. The trip takes them to their annual mating waters around Baja, California, Mexico. Nearly the entire population of grays follow this route, making what some believe is the longest mammal migration journey. Go ahead, Gabe. You can join those whales.
Yeah. I can join those whales for a long migration journey. I like how the sentence just says nearly the entire population of grays follows this route. They don't need to write the population of gray whales. Well, friends, let's continue down to the next sentence here. Grays will linger in the Baja area for up to 3 months, giving their calves time to build up a thickling muscle. Well, in our lesson, in this sentence, we also see another word, that grays will linger in the Baja area for up to 3 months. And if you're lingering somewhere, that means you're just kind of hanging out there. Maybe you don't have a real definite purpose or goal. You're just hanging out.
And you just kind of take a long time to disappear. Is there anywhere that you kind of like to linger, Gabe?
Yeah, like after a party, like if everybody kind of goes home, I like to linger and just kind of talk to a few close friends, or maybe some of the people I just met.
Ah, nice. Well, I think we're lingering on this word a little too long.
Ah, yes.
So let's continue on. We're talking about this thick layer of blubber that these baby calves get to build up. We read, this protective layer of fat will keep the calves warm when they swim back into Russia's freezing waters. For whales, migration is often necessary for survival. Now let's talk about this phrase, necessary for survival. This just means that something is required or needed in order to survive.
Exactly. So what is necessary for human survival? Well, I think we all know food, water, air. These things are all necessary for survival. I would also say relationships are necessary for survival. Love is necessary for our survival.
That's right. There are a lot of things that we need, that are necessary for our survival. And as far as whales are concerned, migration is often necessary for survival. For us, it provides a spectacular opportunity to witness these majestic creatures on the move. Let's talk about that phrase, on the move. If something is on the move, that means that it's going somewhere, traveling someplace.
Exactly. You're on the move. For example, in our lesson, it means migrating. Okay, so these whales are not just staying in one place, they're migrating somewhere else. They're on the move. Perhaps we could talk about birds in the same way. When birds migrate south, or when they fly south for the winter, they are on the move.
That's right. Well, you know something? After reading about these different whales, I think I'm ready to do some more whale watching.
Whale watching.
Yes.
And I thought maybe you were going to say scuba diving.
Ah, scuba diving. Do you know how cool it would be to go scuba diving?
Yes.
And to see a whale?
To see a whale, or even like a whale shark.
A whale shark.
A big creature, right, in the waters. That would be so cool.
Well, I think the ocean in general is absolutely amazing. It's so big, and you can see so many cool things.
And there's a lot of the ocean that still has yet to be explored. Well, friends, it is time for us to finish today's lesson with a
review skit.
So, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the biggest animals on Earth.
Oh, I know. Elephants.
No, the biggest animals on Earth ever.
Oh, I know. Dinosaurs.
No, the biggest animals on Earth ever that live in the ocean.
Oh, I know. Whales.
Yes, that's right. They are so big.
How big?
Well, a blue whale's heart can be the size of a small car.
Wow. Well, that's huge.
Its tongue can weigh as much as an elephant.
What? Wow, that's huge. So tell me, do you know any whale idioms?
Whale idioms. Yes, you can say a whale of a sail.
Oh, that means a very big sail, right?
Right, you can save a lot of money at a whale of a sail. Oh, another idiom is whale of a tail.
Oh.
That means a story is amazing or amusing.
Ooh, hey, I know a whale of a tail.
Really? What whale of a tale is that?
Well, the story of Jonah. He jumped on a ship in order to run away from God.
I remember. He got swallowed by a big fish.
And that is a whale of a tale.
Right.
It's a story in the Bible.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I have a question about whales.
Okay, what's your question?
What do whales eat?
They eat.
They eat fish and ships. That's a joke. Do you get it?
Yes. Fish and ships. Ships, S-H-I-P-S, sounds like fish and chips, C-H-I-P-S, a famous dish in England.
Yeah, so whales eat fish and ships. But they don't really eat ships. But they are big.
Well, we learned about killer whales, aka orcas, today, and gray whales. Rebecca, which would you rather go swimming with?
That's a very good question. I think I probably would go swimming with the gray whales.
Yeah, it seems safer, right?
It seems a little safer than the killer whales.
Yeah, I might get stressed out if I'm swimming with the killer whales. Hey, speaking of stress, how do you cut the stress?
Hey, let's find out tomorrow, right here on Studio Classroom.